Pat Tillman? Pat Tillman was a Washington Redskin. He turned down a $27 million contract to go fight in Iraq, and he got killed by friendly fire. In other words, he got killed by his own men, by
It's
accident.
like the guy like on the Steelers. He was like a lineman, and then like last year when none of them came out of the tunnel,
Yeah,
this seemed like the national anthem.
He was a veteran.
He was the only one that came out.
he was a vet though, right?
Yeah,
And then, by the way, they bitched at him for that.
yeah.
See, and I hate, sometimes America is just like too opinionated, right? You agree? Like all of a sudden what? I don't like that. You can have a feeling, but you don't like, I'm sure you got death threats on like Twitter and shit. Not that I would know what that is, but go.
I feel like he kind of like put too much work into his craft to be able to.
You
have
mean
to go-
Ali?
Yeah, to go to war and like throw that all away.
That's kind of what he said. In other words, your whole life has been what? Boxing, athletics. You're one of the best athletes in the world. You didn't do that to go peel potatoes in, like I said, shithole Germany. I get it. But I still don't know if, like, in other words, if you're an American, right? And if you're Muhammad Ali, you're rich. You agree? So, all right? You're Muhammad Ali. You're the most famous man in America. You got $30 million in the bank. You made that in this country. I think you owe the country something. Maybe not killing anything. I'll buy that. But you got to do something. Like I said, this guy went and cut down trees to make barracks out of. I'll accept that. Right?
I think the best thing he could have done was give money to the war.
What, to give money to it? Don't get me wrong, I guess you could argue, like, could he buy, back in the Civil War, you could buy your way out of the war, you mean, right? That's
No,
interesting.
not even that. Yeah, I guess that, but like help fund, not fund the war, but like help.
But in other
give
words,
money
do
towards
something
it.
on that end. I'd rather see you do something, I think, right, action. I will not ask you to kill someone if you if you put your hand on the Bible or whatever religion you are, and you say that I cannot kill something. I get it, okay. But you gotta do something for the country. Right? You made your money in this country. You live in this country. You don't have to agree with the, wait a minute, right now in America, a lot of things you don't agree with, a lot of things I don't agree with. What do you wanna do? We're all gonna just sit down and not do shit because we don't like the way America does stuff? It's still our country. Right? Anyway, so this guy here is a conscientious objector, goes into World War II, does not go overseas, stays back home and like cuts down oak trees so that the people overseas can make barracks out of them. Alright, so he's going to write a poem that involves killing something or not killing something. Because obviously it was something very close to him. Alright, you got this poem?
Yes.
I'm on page 830, it's called Traveling Through the Dark. You see it?
I can't find it much though.
Alright. Got it? Okay. Traveling Through the Dark is his most famous poem, so if you want to know William Stafford, this is the one you want to know. Traveling through the dark, I found a deer dead on the edge of Wilson River Road. It is usually best to roll them into the canyon. That road is narrow. To swerve might make more dead. By glow of the taillight, I stumbled back at the car and stood by the heap. A doe, a recent killing. She had stiffened already. She was almost cold. I dragged her off. She was large in the belly. My fingers touching her side brought me to reason. Her side was warm. Her fawn lay there waiting, alive, still, never to be born. And beside that mountain road, I hesitated. The car aimed ahead, its lowering parking lights. Under the hood purred the steady engine. I stood in the glare of the warm exhaust turning red. Around our group, I could hear the wilderness listen. I thought hard for us all. My only swerve. Then pushed her over the edge into the river. Show.
So he was driving, saw a dead like deer, and it was pregnant, or like had a baby inside, but that could like still
Yes.
be alive. And then there was a car coming.
And then he's got a
and the
moral
choice of,
dilemma.
like,
Then, right, now he's got a
either,
moral
like, stay here,
dilemma.
get hit, or
Yes. So now, he's coming down a dark mountain road. Now go back to the title for 1 second. Traveling through the dark. Obviously, in a literal sense, he's driving down a country road. You agree? We've all done that. You can barely see, headlight, okay, but you can see. Now, in a more metaphorical sense, what's he getting at? Did he know 5 minutes before this happened that this would happen to him? No, and that's what he really means by traveling through the dark. Whether you believe it or not, or admit to it, there's not a person in this room that knows what's going to happen in the next 45 minutes. You just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen at home today. In other words, most of us expect that we're going to get home and everything will be fine. Could something turn the corner at 2:37 and change your life forever? Yes. Something could turn the corner tonight when you walk down to Wawa to get a big gulp or something. Big gulp? Okay, in other words, you go to Wawa to get a soda. Something could happen, and your life is never the same. That's what this is. For about 5 minutes, he was God. You know how every now and then someone will say to someone, I don't believe in God because all I see is bad things happening to good people? If you've ever said that, be careful how you feel about this poem, because it reflects on that. This guy is driving through the dark. Okay, fine. All of a sudden in his head, like, what's he see? I see a dead deer on the edge of the road. Okay, he's been here before. What's he say? Normally when you see this deer, you jump out of your car and you roll it down the canyon. Why? The road's real skinny. If a car's coming this way and I'm out, right? All right, what's going to happen? I could get killed, right? Guy may not see me or the deer. He may run off the road and he may die. So, in order to stop more death, you jump out of your car, you roll the deer down the canyon, get back in your car and go home. Fine. Here's the problem. He starts to do that. He's actually kind of pissed. He's got to do this. He said he stumbles back in the car. In other words, not he's just walking and almost tripping. Does not want to do this. Okay. He stands by the heat. He's in such a bad mood that he forget. Now he doesn't even call it a deer at this point. What's he call it? A heap. What is a heap? Is a pile. Could it be a pile of shit? Could it be a pile of clothes? Could it be a pile of leaves? He's already in the point where what? I'm already aggravated enough having to do this that it's not even a deer to me anymore. It's just a freaking pile that I gotta knock into the damn river. Does not want to do this. I don't want. Okay, now as he gets close to it, he stands by the heat. He sees it's the what? He can tell it's not a male, it's a female. He doesn't care. It's a doe. Then he also knows what? As I get closer to it, it's a recent killing. How does he know? Whatever blood is on it is still but glistening in the light. So the blood hasn't congealed yet. The blood is still shining in the light. This just happened last hour or two. All right, still doesn't mean anything to him. Fine. Now, he basically, right, he bends down. She had stiffened. You heard the term rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is when your body, like that. Her body was starting to rigor mortis, but she hadn't totally done it. So again, rigor mortis was kicking in. He grabs her by the feet, right? Starts to drag her toward the edge of the highway, right? She had stiffened already. She was almost cold. Even in her hoofs, you could feel that the blood had stopped flowing, and she was cold. She was dead. I dragged her off. Okay, end of poem, not so fast. Here's where he turns the corner and doesn't see what's coming. As he's dragging her off, he's probably dragging her by the feet. What part of her is exposed to him? Her belly. And as he's watching it, what does he say? She's big in the belly. She's pregnant. Okay, he stops, he puts her down. My fingers touching her side brought me the reason. Her side is warm. The baby deer is inside there, breathing, moving, kicking. It wants to be born. What do you do? So he's got his hand on the deer. My fingers touching her side brought me the reason. Her side was warm. The fawn lay there waiting, alive. It was moving. People, it's moving. All right? But still, never to be born. What he means is what? The mom's dead. The mom doesn't have the muscular stuff it takes to deliver the baby. Meaning, this baby deer will be trapped alive. You agree? Yeah. Okay. Now, beside that mountain road, I hesitated. Why? Because something happened. When he turned the corner, he just had his Twilight Zone moment. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? All of a sudden, it got cosmic. All of a sudden, it wasn't just about this deer and him wanting to get home because his wife was making meatloaf for dinner. Now he's got to play God. Now he's got to play God. He has the power of life and death in his hands. He said, right? He said, he looks around, he says, the car aimed its lowering parking lights. Under the hood, purred the engine. I stood in the glare of the warm exhaust turning red. What's happening is all the things that normally happen to us during the course of the day. You'll go to Wawa tonight thinking about Roger Crane. You do something else tonight thinking about your English teacher. You go to somewhere else tonight thinking about the shit you got on home. You go somewhere else tonight thinking about the lacrosse game you lost. That's what we think about on a normal basis, but every now and then you're going to turn a corner, which is going to do what to those things? It'll fade away. Every now and then you're going to turn a corner, and all the things you thought were important are going to fade away. All he knows is, I've got to do something right now, and whatever my decision is, something will live and die because of me. And his senses become very clear. His senses, he feels it. Everything is watching what he'll do in this moment. He says he sat in the glare, or kneeled down in the glare of the exhaust, turning red. He was turning red in the taillight. Why do people turn red? It could be, wait a minute, it could be one of a dozen. You agree? We turn red when we're embarrassed. Maybe he was embarrassed at what he was going to do. Anger. Maybe he was angry for having what? Been put in this position. But we turn red for a lot of reasons. So he says, in the glare of that exhaust, I sat there getting redder and redder. Okay. Around our group, I could hear the wilderness listen. It is as if the whole cosmos and nature stopped and went, what would you do if the whole universe was looking at you? Nobody else, just the universe.
Wave.
You what?
Wave.
It's high.
Anyway, but he feels the eyes of God, he feels the eyes of the universe are watching him. Remember somebody said it's what you do and nobody's watching that matters?
Because that's when everyone's watching.
Nobody's watching him except for the universe. They just want to know what he's going to do. And then he says this, I did think hard, he's telling you. I sat there, right, and I was on my knees and I really said to myself, maybe I could run back to my car and get a knife. And maybe I could slice the dead deer open, right? You know how they take a knife and you slice your couch and you hear the cloth rip, right? It'd be like that with that deer. You'd hear the skin ripping. Maybe I could just get my hands and go inside her, right? And maybe I could just rip her to shreds with a stick until I can get this baby out. Maybe, maybe, maybe. And then he says, F it. What? That's scary. That's
You're sick.
Hey, man.
Because I even believe it there.
I mean, he said, right, I thought hard for us all. That was his only, it was the only time he even thought about it. Wait, should I be doing this? That was his only swerving. And then, we're sure what he is. Now, I don't know about you, but that baby deer experienced a lot of pain as she was rolling down the side of that mountain. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And then she fell in the river, and if she wasn't dead yet, she would have drowned. I don't know. So when I said to you, did you ever hear that thing like, I don't believe in God, they say, because he lets too many bad things happen to good people. If you would have done what this guy just did, don't ever use that excuse again. Because you just did the same exact thing. What would you, I mean, the whole point is, what would you have done? Well, wait a minute. Now, hold on 1 second. Here's where his art, by the way, we all do things, right? And we rationalize them. If I would have said to him that night, dude, what do you mean you rolled it down the edge? Did you even try? He would have gone, no, but I could have gotten killed, right? I'm not saying it's a bad argument.
I mean, I'm
Go
not
ahead.
saying like it was good, but I'm saying like he wouldn't have had time to call the ambulance.
No, he wouldn't. No. Like I said, you only have minutes. You agree? Because by the way, this baby deer is not going to live forever either, inside the womb. right? Because don't forget, at that point, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a veterinarian. I assume when the mother's dead, all the things she gives the baby are stopped. So that baby's in there needing air. Okay, you've got to be God right now. And he's going to say to you later on that night, if you come over his house, he'd say, dude, I couldn't do anything. The car man came and killed me. All right, so basically he's hierarch in life. And I'm more important than the damn deer. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Is that okay that we do this?
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Honestly, I would have just saved the deer.
See, I think I would have crawled inside and head first.
I wouldn't go there first.
What I mean is,
Well, I would take the
yeah, but,
Well, I don't really carry a knife around in my car.
no, but I think I could have gotten a stick, a rock.
But if it's on the
And I-
side of a canyon, where are you gonna find a stick?
How about a rock? I would have
Yeah.
taken a sharp rock. Wait a minute, okay, but I would have taken a sharp rock and I would have cut her skin, and then once I got two good grips, I would have ripped it open.
I would just
I was gonna say, I feel like
on the side.
Why didn't he even? I think what you want to see here is all he did was stop for 15 seconds ago. Should I? What am I doing here? Oh, F it. Boom, see it. In other words, he gave it 15 seconds.
Yeah.
How long would you give it before you said F it?
I would take an hour.
Not even 15 seconds.
Oh,
What does that tell you about your own perspective of life and death? That yours is important and nothing else matters. Go, go, go. Come on, Matilda.
I was gonna say.
Franklin, everybody in a new bag.
It's just a deer.
Okay, now wait a minute though, but in that one moment, it became something else. It became life. It became life. In other words, by the way, if you can do it to Bambi, why do you think he used a deer? Because if you can do it to a deer, ain't no other freaking animal that would bother you. After that, it all gets even easier. You just took Bambi, and you threw her down a mountain, and let her, like, right, imagine, and then she was gonna drown. Why didn't he try? Because if you said to me, why do people like this not try? I think he had something to get home to. I think he was hungry and said, F it, right? I just want to eat. I just want, right? I don't know, here's my point. Is that good enough?
That would've been a long night.
If you said to me, I'm a doctor in a hospital, and there's been a nuclear accident, and I've got to get to a site, and I got to save people, well then I guess at that point, kick the deer off the side and get and say, right? I'm telling you, he gave no indication that where he was going was important. I think he was going home to watch TV. He just didn't want to be bothered with this. I think this brings in things like abortion, about how much we value life, and how cheaply we're willing to give it up. I think he was hungry and went home to dinner.
Does this actually happen to him, or was this like?
Believe it or not, it's funny you said that. I always heard that he was in Oregon on vacation, and something like this happened to him, number one. And I do know that he died not long ago, and he died writing a poem. Like he died with his head and a pencil in his hand on his desk, like this. And then his wife just came and pushed him over the dump. His wife came and pushed him over. She pushed him down the basement steps.
Enjoy your life, honey. Just go.
All right. This is okay. Ready? Can we write a paragraph about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me this. Is it dark, complex, or violent?
Dark.
I think it's all. I think we can make a case.
I don't think it's that gonna get.
Well, it gets complex. Yes. All of a sudden, it's not just a deer, it's life in general.
Because I think so.
Hi, vlog.